So once you've mixed the cube up, the first thing you've got to do is solve the white cross. Now most beginners tutorials will teach you to solve the white cross and possibly even the white corners on top, and then you've got to turn the cube upside down and get the white to the bottom to solve the rest of the cube. I'm going to teach you to solve the white cross from the bottom straight away. For this method that I'm teaching you, it makes more sense and it will pay off in the long run because it will help you to get faster quicker. So to solve the white edge pieces, all you have to do is get them surrounding this center white slot. So these 4 edge pieces surrounding this, but they have to be in a certain order, and this is where the colors come in. So if I've put my blue centerpiece here, so I've moved this around so blue is in front and yellow is on top, I now know the blue and white edge piece has to be in the front here. On the right, because red centerpiece is on the right, attached to this is the red and white piece. Attached to the orange one on my left side is orange and white, and on the back we have the green piece, so it's green and white. That's all you have to do. And so this is where knowing the colors is so important. It will actually make things a lot easier for you. So the final thing I'm going to tell you is the way the cube moves, because if we've got the white cross in place, I can turn this top layer here with either of my fingers here, and that will not affect the bottom, or it won't break up the white cross or do anything to the white cross. The same if I move this middle layer. Again, I can move it either way and nothing will happen to the white cross at the bottom. Yet, if I move these pieces on the side, that breaks up the white cross. I can move it this way or to the back or to the top. That will then break up the white cross. The same if I move this front piece, that breaks up the white cross. The same with the left piece and with the back piece. So just keep that in mind. We're going to use these top 2 slices to get our white pieces into place, and then we're going to use the side slices and the front slices to get them into the right position down here. First, I'm going to teach you about good and bad edges. Both are really easy to solve. The first good edge is what happens if you see a white piece on top. So if you see a white edge piece here, 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 or here. Now I use this top slice, so if it's at the top, I use the top slice to maneuver it round to the right position. So first of all, I can get it in front of me and look at what the color is that's attached to the white. So in this case it's red. So I turn the red to my right because red goes on my right. Then I use the right slice to get it to the bottom like that. Now I can either move it towards me and down, or I can move it away from me and down. Either way it gets it to the bottom, whatever's most comfortable. So in the same way, if I see a white piece here and to see what it is, I turn this top piece and I realize it's blue. I know blue goes in front. Then I use the front slice to get it to the bottom. Same with the orange side. If I see a white piece, say over here, I get it in front of me, it's orange. So I get orange, the orange side on my left, and then I use the left slice to get it down to the bottom. And finally, this piece here, if I turn this around, I use again this top slice to maneuver it around. I see that it's green. I then use the top slice to maneuver it to the back, and then use the back slice to get it to the bottom. So in this case, I'd use my thumb, put it on top, and use this first finger and maneuver it to the bottom there. So just by turning the back slice, because it's the green at the back, takes it to the bottom. So either way, so if it's at the side, you could either use your right hand or use your left hand. So if you put my left thumb on top and then use my left finger, turn that slice to the bottom. So that's your first good edge to help create the white cross if the white edge is on top. The second good edge is if you see a white edge piece in the middle on the side. So it can be any of these sides here. I can move that around. So in exactly the same way, if it's at the top, I'm moving the top layer around. If it's at the side, I'm moving the top two layers around, which is, you can see, moves this piece around, and that's how you maneuver it into the right position. So in this case, I move it, the red to the right, so because it's white and red to the right, and then I'll move the right slice to get the white to the bottom. So in this case, just one move, boom, it's there. In the exactly the same way as if I see this white piece here, I look at what piece it's attached to, I see blue. So I get the blue side in front of me, and then I use the front slice, because blue's at the front, to move it down to the bottom. There, like that quick. Same with the orange slice. In fact, it can be the other way. So I see white and I see orange, so that's no good here. So I've got to move it once more to the orange is on the left, and get the left slice to the bottom. So you can see it there. The orange goes down to the bottom here. That completes the white cross here. Same way as if it was at the back. So in this case, I can see the green. Oh, it's green. So I make it so the green side faces the back, and then I use the back layer. So in this case, it's easier to use my left thumb or left hand. I get my thumb on top and then move this piece here to move this piece right down to the bottom over here, like that. So that is our second good edge. So this is our first bad edge. In this scenario is if I have the white in either of the middle, so it can be here, 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 or here. To turn a bad edge into a good edge is really easy, because all you have to turn it is this way or that way, and you'll see it's now in this middle layer on the side, and that is a good edge. So it's super easy to turn it into a good edge. But there is a couple of things you have to watch, which I'll show you in a moment. So because in this case, you're actually having to turn the front layers or the side layers, which normally affects this bottom row. But in this case, because this is down the bottom, if I move this front layer to turn it into a good edge, it doesn't interfere with our white cross here. So I move it either way, in this case up here, and then now it's a good edge. Now I'm turning this middle layer as I did before until I got the blue in front of me, because the blue goes in front of me and then goes down to the bottom. That's how I can turn a bad edge into a good edge and then get the white down to the bottom. So that's a super simple scenario. So again, so I turn it, I could have done this the other way around. I could have turned it up here. I then move this middle section round so that the blue's in front of me, and then move it down to the bottom. So what if it's not in the right place? In fact, sometimes that's even easier. So say I've got I'm moving this around, and I've got the orange in place over here, I've got the green in place over here, and I need this blue over here. Well, this is super easy. Because it's blue, I move this slice so that the blue faces me straight away. I wouldn't move it to the back there and then move it. It'd be far easier for me to turn this piece up towards me, so now the blue is facing me, and move that front slice down to the bottom to get the blue in the right position. Like that. So that is a bad edge. And just have one more scenario over here. So I've got my bad edge over here, which is, again, it's the wrong way around. So in this case, I could either get it to the back or to the front to turn it into a good edge. So now it's a good edge because it's on the sides rather than in the middle. So in this case, it might be easier for me to turn it around to the front so I can see what color it is. I can see it's red. Get red to my right, and then get white to the bottom. Now if I turn this whole middle slice so that the blue aligns with the blue, the red with the red, green with the green, and the orange with the orange. So our second bandage is if it's in the middle but at the top, in this top layer. So you can actually move it around in this case. And what you need to do is move it around until it's in a layer that is free down here. So in fact you move it round to the position where it needs to be. So I can't get the blue in front because it won't go. No matter which way I turn it, that blue will not be facing the blue side. So I get it on the blue layer, which is this front layer, and then I turn it into a good edge from here. Because I'm turning this layer, I don't want to affect these side pieces. So if I turn it to the side, this side, and turn it into a good edge, I'm actually breaking up the cross down here. So I want to get that bad edge, if it's in the middle at the top, onto a layer where it doesn't affect the white cross. So in this case, I'm getting it above where I can see there is no white piece here. I can then turn it into a good edge. So from there to there, that would be a good edge, or that would be a good edge. I can easily turn the blue, turn this whole middle layer because it's the middle good edge. I turn this around so the blue is in front of me, and then I can turn this front layer to the bottom and put the white down here. So let's try another scenario. So in this case, I see I've got most of my white cross and I find this bad edge over here. So now I would move this to the slice as it's orange. I would move the orange to the left hand side. I'd then move that orange into a good edge, which would be at the sides here. I then move this middle slice around to the back so the orange is facing the left hand side, and then move the orange to the bottom there, like that. So one final time, this time we have a green piece, so I move the green to the back so it's not interfering with any of the rest of the white cross. You move it either way, so in this case I move it to the left or the right and turn it into a good edge. I then move this middle slice round until I can see the green is facing the back, and then I move it down. In this case it's easiest to move it down by getting my right thumb on top and then using my first finger to get that to the bottom to create the white cross. And I can move this centerpiece round to align all the middle pieces. So I've mixed the cube up, and the first thing I do is get the white centerpiece to the bottom and check there are no other white edge pieces attached to it. So as in this case there aren't, so I start usually by looking on top, and in fact here I can see a white and green edge. So I know that green goes at the back, so I turn this top piece until the green's at the back, and I use the back slice now to get that to the bottom. So that's our first piece in place. Then I look around, I see another edge piece over here, and this is a red piece. I get the red on my right, get that to the bottom, and that's now in the right place. I now look, I have an edge piece here on the side, so this is a good edge, and I move that, the orange goes on my left, so the orange is back here now. I move that left slice to the bottom, there, like that. So if I now turn this centerpiece round, I know that all these pieces are in the right place. Finally, I've got one bad edge down the bottom here, so I move it up into a good edge. Now it's in a good edge, I move it round to the blue is in front of me, and then move that front slice down to the bottom. Now I finish by lining the center pieces up So that's a simple solve. So I've mixed up the cube again. I get my white centerpiece to the bottom, and I see that I've got one already attached to it, and I check what that is. It says it's orange, and orange goes on my left, so I can keep the orange to my left. I look around. Oh, I've got one piece here. Oh, and it's the green piece, so I get the green, so the green tile is facing the back, and I use the back slice to get that white to the bottom here like that. So that's our first two pieces are in place. I've got one bad edge here, and I've also got one good edge here. So first of all, I take care of this good edge and put that to the back, and now I move that, so now the red is facing on the right, and I move the white down to the bottom, and now these pieces are all in place. Now the last piece is actually the same scenario as last time, so let me just put that to the top. So I've just put this last piece to the top so that it's not the same scenario as last time. So this white edge piece is now on top. Now again, it's now, because it's blue, I get it to the blue side, which is this front slice. I then put that to either side there or there, and then move the blue to the front by turning the center slice. Now the blue is facing the front, now I can turn it down to the bottom, and that's created my white cross. All I have to do now is move the centerpiece round to the blue and the red and the orange and the green match up. So again, that was a super simple white cross. So I've mixed up the cube again, and I get my white to the bottom, and there's no other piece attached to it. So I look, oh, I see one at the top, and this is a red piece. So I stick my red on my right, and then use the right slice to turn that red to the bottom, and now that's in place. Now I look around, oh, there are two bad edges here, right at the top and on the bottom, and as there's no white piece in place down the bottom here, I can now put that on its side and turn both these bad edges into good edges. Now I can turn them round to where they need to go. So I keep with my red on my right here, I move this orange piece to my left where it belongs, I move the orange piece down with the left slice, and that's now in place. And it's actually this green one here is also in place, so I move that one to the bottom, and now I'm looking around for my last piece, which is blue and white, so which was the same scenario as last time. I put it down to the side, turn it into a good edge, and then I move it round until the blue is in front of me, and use the front slice to move that down to the bottom. All I have to do now is move this centerpiece till all the centerpieces line up, and that is another simple white cross. So one final scenario here, I get the white to the bottom, and I see I've got two bad edges here and two bad edges here, and this is actually quite a good scenario because you'll see that these two edges, the one on the top is the blue one, and the one on the bottom here is the green one. So these are opposite, they go opposite each other. So actually by turning them on their side, you turn them both into good edges. Now, as the green needs to go on the back, I turn the green to the back. That also puts this blue to the front. So immediately I can turn this green one down, which aligns that one, and I can also turn the blue one down. So that almost kills two birds with one stone. I see this edge here, and I see a bad edge here. And check this out, if I move this red piece round to where it, so this is the good edge, I turn it round until the red is on my right. I then turn this down, but in turning this down, I turn this bad edge into a good edge. So as I'm getting the red into place, that turns this into a good edge, which just needs to go over here, which is the orange side on the left, and I use the orange slice to get it to the bottom. Then I align the middle colours up, and everything is in place. So now you know how to create the white cross. I encourage you just to mix the cube up and then make a white cross, and you'll realize you'll actually learn little other shortcuts as you do it more and more. You'll find extra little ways of getting that white cross even quicker. So the more you do it, the faster you'll get at this. So as I say, I encourage you, before you even go to the next stage, just get really comfortable with solving the white cross.